Okay, today is the 1st of January 2024, and the time is 16:00 in the afternoon. Okay, and I'm just going for a walk, and I wanted to start by saying Happy New Year to all my viewers out there, and Happy New Year to every single real TI out there. If you're a targeted individual, I wanted to say howdy. I hope you're keeping well. So today I've decided to make a very short video which will serve as a prelude to a more expansive topic. And that topic is none other than the enemy from within. As a targeted individual, you will naturally be subjected to things which come as part of the standard organized gang stalking experience. For example, you will be radiated on a near 24/7 basis. You will be stalked by your neighbors and radiated by your neighbors. They'll spy on you invasively. You'll be gaslighted wherever you go. And you will be blacklisted. What that means is that getting a regular source of employment will be something that you will struggle to do. In other words, you will be a victim of poverty engineering. We already know all these things, right? However, today's video is not about any of those things, which we already know. No. Today's video is exclusively and particularly focused on none other than the enemy from within, and that is your family. Ladies and gentlemen, dear targeted individuals who are watching this video, I wanted to let you know that the most dangerous of all enemies you will ever face in your journey as a targeted individual is your family. Yes. Oh, yes, oh, yes. Your family are your greatest enemies. And that is for many reasons. Now, don't get me wrong. There might very well be targeted individuals out there who are lucky enough to have a very supportive and understanding family that would see to it that they understand what you're going through. They support you in every way they can. They're there for you. And maybe they might not know much about the remote neural monitoring, electromagnetic radiation, see-through wall radars, see-through eye technologies. They might not know much about it, but as opposed to gaslighting you, what they'll do instead is that they're like, okay, you know what? We don't fully understand what's going on with those things. However, we're willing to understand if you sort of educate us on these topics. If you are a TI, and that sounds like the scenario you find yourself in, please understand that you are very lucky. You are super lucky. In fact, I'm going on record to say that very few TIs will find themselves in that scenario because it's a very, very rare scenario. So if you're a TI and you find yourself in that scenario, you are very lucky. Today, I'm not here to talk about that very rare scenario. I'm here to talk about the common scenario of where your family members are actively working against you to the point where they are just as dangerous and even more dangerous to you than the perpetrators who radiate you on a 24/7 basis. It is very common that as a targeted individual, you are unlucky to be surrounded by a family of narcissists and sociopaths and narcissistic sociopaths. These very demonic, negative energies are surrounding you on a daily basis. You might also be very unlucky that you might be surrounded by energy vampires. Yes, energy vampires who are there to suck the energy out of you. I mean, it's bad enough that you're already suffering on a daily basis, financially, emotionally, mentally, physically, psychologically. You're going through all these turmoils. And then on top of that, you're dealing with narcissists, sociopaths, narcissistic sociopaths, as well as energy vampires that surround you on a daily basis. Your family, they do nothing to help. They gaslight you. You approach them with a topic, and this perp is here again. The same perp that I see every time when I go for a walk. You can't really make that up. So, if you find yourself in that scenario, then what you need to do is understand that you must first of all recognize who they are. If you sit there and you keep thinking, oh, well, they're my family, I'm not quite sure what to do. Listen, you will be in a very tough situation very quickly. That dude is a perp. Every time I go for a walk, his sorry ass comes out. And I'm glad that I've seen him and I caught him on camera. He's a perp. Last time I saw him, he tried to interact with me, saying some stupid shit, got him on camera. So, as a targeted individual, if you notice that your family members are working against you by not supporting you, by gaslighting you, and in many cases, also being members of the organized gang stalking network, you have got to act quickly. The first thing you need to do is to set those boundaries. Setting those boundaries will put you in a position where you can instantly minimize the sheer amount of damage that they do to you. If you're in a close proximity to them, for example, you might even live in the same house with them, then this is going to be difficult, but it's still possible. Setting those boundaries. After you set those boundaries, you need to work out a plan for yourself. Not anybody else, but a plan just for you. The reason why you need to do that is because you are under more stress than you realize. And I'm talking from my personal experience. I was living in a flat where I would have died if I was still there by now. And I had no choice other than to quickly pack my things and, leave the flat because I was getting radiated on a 24/7 basis. However, I knew that leaving so quickly meant that I didn't quite have another place to go. So I just said, you know what? While I don't particularly like this option, I'm going to go for the family option, which is stay with my family for a very short period of time. And then once I've got myself back up together, I would then move to a flat. My own next flat, whatever. This was my plan. However, in the process of doing so, a lot of things have been confirmed. I already knew these things, but they've been confirmed. And it has to do with those narcissistic personalities. In fact, I spoke to more than one family member about the reality of electromagnetic radiation. And they said to me, oh, we don't believe in microwaves. I'm like, wow, that is crazy. They don't believe in microwaves. And that made me feel bad because I'm getting radiated on a 24/7 basis. So I went up to them again and I said, look, do you realize that your next door neighbors are actually radiating you on a 24/7 basis? They don't even realize that they are getting radiated too. That response was a negative one. I was gaslit. What are you talking about? They even questioned my mental health. I said, are you sure you're okay? Why are you talking all this nonsense about radiation or whatever? I don't believe in these microwaves. This is a nightmare, as you can imagine. It's nothing but a nightmare. So at this point in time, when I put that behavior beside other things which, I observed, but I don't wish to mention at this point in time, it became clear to me that my targeting is infinitely much more difficult when you have a non-supportive family that are, gaslighting you and making it seem like the experience you're having is fictitious. They made it out like I made it up. And I'm like, you couldn't make this up. It's not possible. I said, you simply could not make any of this up because this is the reality of the life that I live on a daily basis. I wake up with extreme migraines, and this is because my head gets microwaved while I'm asleep. My stomach, my solar plexus, my chest, my heart, my genitals, my knees. This is an experience that I have on a daily basis. Just imagine if your family member was quite supportive and they said, really? Is this what you're going through? Okay, what could be done to minimize the damage being done? Now that's some good support because it shows that they're keeping their minds open and they want to know a little bit more about your condition, about my condition. Nope. For me to have such a positive response is merely a fantasy. Instead, I got the standard negative gaslighting. Oh, it doesn't exist. You made it up. How could it be? I've lived here for so many years beside these neighbors. They're good people. They're Christians. They wouldn't do such a thing. And this is so sad, It's so sad because when they're making all these statements, I myself am picking up signals and making observations that go on to support my initial suspicion that these guys are part of the organized gang stalking network. They are making money off my targeting. They are making money off the targeting of my parents and my family members. They are doing so, and they've been doing so for a long time. In fact, today, I noticed a shift swap take place right before my very eyes. If you are a targeted individual and you are surrounded by a non-supportive family that make it look like you made it up, or how could that happen, or it's all a lie, or are you sure you're mentally okay? If you find yourself in that scenario, I'm just going to give you one very good piece of advice. And that advice is this: make sure you slowly but surely begin to distance yourself from them. You have to, because if you don't, you will die. You already have a case of something like this happening with an individual that was a targeted individual, and his name is Wayne Daniels. Yes, Wayne Daniels. He has passed away. And this is somebody that will come on YouTube, talk about his targeting, and even go on to ask for help, financial help, because he was struggling big time. At the time, we were also struggling, and we were not in a position to help, And it makes me really sad because other TIs I knew would look at his videos. You could see that this dude is hustling, but there was not much we could do because we were struggling real bad at the time too. Anyways, after a long while of being targeted, radiated, being stalked everywhere he was going, he was foot stalked, vehicular stalked, he decided to go back to his family. because he was fed up. When he went back to his family, shortly after that, he passed away. This is really sad, you know. He passed away shortly after that. And this is a real sad scenario for this dude, because that could be me. That could be you. It could be me, and it could be you. So his passing is something that hurts me, because I wish there was something I could have done at the time to help him, but I just simply couldn't. It wasn't possible for me to achieve that. I was struggling too. However, his passing is a lesson to us. I've been saying this, and this is why I started the TIS community chat, because I wanted to start a way for TIs to financially help themselves, because you will soon realize the cold truth. And that truth is this: all we have is us. I really hope you enjoyed this video. And if you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Your support goes a very long way. Stay tuned for the next video, and don't forget to protect yourself at all times.